Welcome to the Kyle's Korner podcast. Open a cold one, enjoy, and relax. I'm here with Nick and Brian.
Hey.
Okay.
I guess I'm Brian.
And to clarify, we're not health professionals and only know this information from the news and the internet, as well as personal information. So please take all this with a grain of salt. We're really not the people that know the best about the coronavirus. So please remember this, YouTube. Please not demonetize us. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not giving out advice. We're more doing a personal reflection on how it's affecting everyday life.
So today we'll just be discussing the coronavirus in general and what happened with that. And then we'll talk about how it's personally affecting us. So let's dive in, boys.
Okay, Kyle, where are you at currently? Well, not in your hometown or anything, but just where are you in life right now thanks to the coronavirus?
I'm in sadness, alone.
You're just your general state of being.
My general state of being right now is sad and alone.
Well, what happened to you recently? Something that got affected with your schooling, right?
Guys, as you know or don't know, I'm in college right now, and my college got shut down right before spring break. So I actually collected a bunch of reactions to this from my friends and fellow peers that also go to school. Most of it was like, yeah, this sucks, this blows, but we understand because it's going to affect us and spread pretty fast, the students, but it also will potentially hurt like the older faculty members as well as the professors that aren't in the best of health and maybe smoke or maybe older. But we're also pretty bummed because a lot of my friends are seniors and they were supposed to graduate this year. And our school really hasn't clarified if they will graduate or when they will graduate yet. So that's up in the air.
Gain anything out of the whole second semester?
Nope. We don't even know if some of the classes are even going to be canceled yet. That's how in the dark everyone is at school and how the provost don't even know what to do right now. So then there's been a petition online as well to get the school to be pass or fail, which pretty much means you get your credits, but you don't get a grade, so it doesn't affect your GPA. And people are saying they want it for our midterm, which was right before spring break, and just like get rid of the rest of the semester and say that's good enough and we're fine.
Oh wow, huh?
And I think it's got like 3,000 supporters right now online, which I am also a supporter of it because I would like my credits and not have to retake these classes, even though I might need to because they are for camera editing and recording, which I need to learn how to do better. But also,
now, is there any potential for students to get refunded at this point?
So I also bought what's called the workout plan, the gym membership plan, as well as food and dorm and stuff, which I'm currently not able to be in. So people have been asking, I guess, emailing school a lot to ask if we get refunds on the stuff they said. And they said, oh, we're discussing it right now, but at this point we don't know if refunds are available or not.
What? They can't just be like, oh yeah, sorry, you paid for a gym semester. Looks like, but you're not gonna get it. Yeah,
but they said they're discussing it right now. They said they don't know at this point, which makes sense.
When's the last time you went to class?
When did school? The 19th.
Yeah, you said it was just before spring break.
Yep.
Okay, so just a portion into March.
Oh, spring break was the 12th. It was March 12th.
Did you clean out your dorms before spring break?
So before spring break, we got an email saying spring break's been extended to April 7th. So I took quite a bit of stuff home, but they said the dorms would still be open, but they were not closing them down at that time. And then a week later, I got an email saying, oh yes, by the way, we are also closing down the dorms now. So then I had to go back, get my stuff, return my keys. No one was there to help or anything. And then that was basically it. They gave us like a week to clean our stuff out.
That really sucks for anyone who lives super far away from the school.
Like the foreign exchange students.
Oh yeah, did they go home for their break?
Most of them stayed in the dorms, but now the dorms closed, I'm guessing they went home, even though if they live in like
How
I don't know how that works because what if they live in like one of the states?
one of the countries that you can't travel.
They can't travel to, like Europe or China or somewhere where they.
Yes, the country Europe. Yes,
Country
Poor
Europe.
things. Poor Europeans. Every single citizen of Europe.
Oh, Nick, so funny, so funny.
Wow. Well, so Nick, how has your life changed with the coronavirus?
Well, I live at home, and most of the time, that's not a joke, but thank you for the hilarious. I, for the most part, work online, but I have had jobs such as taking on a coaching position at my former high school. And for the speech team, the season was going pretty well until about, I'd say, probably around the time spring break started, yep. Because it was our home tournament for the week was about to be held. And we got the news that the basketball team that day was also going to be shut down, the basketball tournament. And so we were like, well, maybe they're just trying to minimize the amount of people that are going to be in attendance in some capacity, but maybe not all. But no, they just shut down everything at that point. And so, that was a bummer for us as the coaches because we had to say we knew we weren't going to make any funds from concessions or anything like that. Our friend Mitch works at the local Culvers, and he's also a coach of the team. And every year he supplies a certain amount of custard for us to sell to students who are participating in the tournament. And so we couldn't get any funds from that. So our banquet hall for the end of the year has been cut down. So we have to figure out how to make up that money. And of course, sections were the following week, which is essentially the end of the year. It's like the big game, essentially.
So you didn't have state?
Everything's been leading up to that point, so you can potentially, if you do perform well enough, you can make it to state level.
So state's canceled then this year?
State at this point is still postponed.
Postponed?
It's not, meaning they cancel our tournament, but they're going to hold off on officially canceling any sort of like within our division, within our counties, essentially. They're going to hold off on saying, we're not doing a state level thing. We're not doing sections this year or anything. So it's still up in the air right now. But that's going to depend on whether or not kids can return to school. Kids have been out of school at the high school level as well for pretty much the same amount of time you've been.
I bet they're just sad they can't go to high school anymore. They're probably all crying.
I bet they're all bumming.
Bummed.
But I think it's the same thing for seniors as well, who've been training this whole, since the start of, the year to like perform and reach the level of excellence they want in speech, or just finish their year out strongly. If they've been in it for a couple of years now, they don't have that opportunity to either one have a final home tournament or even compete and get a chance to go into state. Currently the only thing slated right now is just to have our end of the year banquet, which is just going to be a, if we can have it, it's going to be like a end of the year, like, hey, sorry things didn't work out type event. But who wants to go to something like that when we could have had kids going into state or just a good final wrap up season? But that's kind of just held a cloud over everything at the end of this. I would say in my own personal life, considering I do get to work from home for the most part.
Sorry, before we move on to your personal life, I do have a few questions about the state or the whole speech side of things.
Well, I'm not taking any questions. So.
Alrighty.
Go ahead, fire away.
I was just curious, since you're more connected with our former high school than I am. Do you know, had they started rehearsing play the final play of the year?
The play musical, yes, absolutely.
Wow. I mean, they're not.
I mean, everything had already been cast. There was the musical, auditions have been held. We had kids coming late to practices because we were saying, we've got the spring musical coming up. That's important to us too.
Man, that sucks.
It's already a conflict of interest if you're not conflict of interest, but a conflict of scheduling if you have, both a role in the musical that you want to perform in, as well as, you know, your speech performer as well. But both those events, both those activities just shut down.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yep.
Sorry. Anyway, you can go on about your personal life.
Personal life.
There's only
We
one
want to
question.
hear this. We want to hear this.
Got held up for one question like that.
Well, okay. My other question then: why don't they hold speech like over Zoom or something?
Yeah, why couldn't they do it online?
That would take a lot of pulling together and getting
Exactly.
all
All
I
your
don't
eye
think it'd be
focus
that
would be
much.
on the computers.
that.
You'd have 3 different laptops set up in the room as judges. Like, oh yes, my focal points here, there, and there.
I don't think it'd be that hard to do it online.
It would just be absolutely.
Yeah, they'd have to really
How would
pull
you
all that
possibly
together.
pull that off?
As Brian knows, he is a professional judge for speech.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I won't get the markdown points here. Your Skype call did drop for 20 seconds. It's kind of an
I
awkward
didn't like
pause.
where you
kind of an
froze
awkward
and stuttered
pause.
for 10 seconds because it
Know
you
your
got
line,
all blurry.
know your lines a little bit more, so you're not stuttering and flickering on the screen.
Looks like your volume went down a little. Minus 20 points.
Minus 20 points. Sorry about that. 20 points. Not how they work.
Your personal
But
life.
my
Nick.
personal life. Working from home has been a nice little activity. Like, most of the stuff that I do outside has to do with the side work that I do, like speech and stuff. But most of the time, I sit here with my grandma. I make her coffee every day, and I play cards with her, and then I do a lot of my work. So that hasn't affected me in the sense that people are, disappearing, or it's hard to get in contact with everybody. Everyone's on Discord. However, we did have a bit of a disturbance last week. My boss, who lives in Germany, disappeared for about 4 days.
Whoa.
And we were like, we were adding him, and we were saying like, hey, what's the issue here? Not like, get back here, but like, hey, what's going on? We just want to know. So we almost performed a slight mutiny of the project that we work on together. And basically, we're plotting, if in a worst case scenario he didn't reappear, to take over the Patreon and everything that he works on. He worked on for years. We were like, we're just going to steal all the audience. And then, of course, Monday afternoon, he showed back up and it was like, hey guys, I just turned everything off and banged out the work I needed to do. So I'm pretty proud of myself. But why are you guys trying to take everything over?
Jeez.
No, I think we deleted most of the portions of our questioning, so I don't think he heard much about that. He only came back to see us like sputtering and wondering what we were going to do if he didn't come back. So that's the only issue I've even possibly faced with like not being able to get in touch with work, is someone just disappearing for a while. But the disease hasn't affected any of my like more what I focus on heavily in terms of my personal life. And
What about your
my
social
projects and
life,
stuff.
though?
Social life.
You usually go out a lot,
yeah.
don't you? On the weekends, go like the bars and stuff.
I do like to bar hop with a friend or two if I can gather someone up for the evening and just hang out and talk about life and where we are.
As we know, all the bars are closed right now due to the...
All the bars and all the restaurants are closed.
Only takeout.
Which has been a saving grace for me. That's mainly where I get food from anyway, so it hasn't affected me as to be like, oh, I love to sit down at a fine Wendy's and
I do like
get
sitting
my
down
$4
restaurants.
sliders. It's fine with a friend. If I'm sitting there by myself, why would I possibly sit there by myself? So that hasn't affected me too greatly in terms of getting quality food. And can I just say, I don't know who didn't already have enough toilet paper for like a year before all this started. As soon as this stuff happened, I was like, okay, people aren't pooping more, so why are people buying more? It's the reason we're running out. It's because people are just like, oh, gotta panic. And anybody who's tried to offload anything at this point, like there was a guy who bought like 15,000 bottles of hand sanitizer.
And then couldn't sell it.
And the state was like, no, you're not going to get away with that. You're screwed.
Well, that's terrible.
So-
Why would you do that? People need that.
I find people who are trying to make a profit off this situation just insufferably awful. But also people who are trying to like save themselves from an impending doom. Like, you are going to be fine with regards to supplies. If you need to go out, that's the important thing. We've been to Target. I've been to Target at least twice since they've been like stay indoors, and they've got things marked on the floor. I don't talk to anybody. I don't need to. I don't touch anything I don't need to. I'm not licking poles like some people are.
Oh, gross.
I don't know
that
what
TikTok trend is
is
so
this?
gross.
What is it about the human society that just, I don't know.
I don't know why they're buying toilet paper, though. It doesn't make sense unless like everyone's working from home. They're just taking massive dukes every day that clog up their toilets and need a superior amount of toilet paper.
It's just people panicking.
But I mean, I understand hand sanitizer and hand soap because people are
like if you reasonably don't have, I don't think like we had much. That's the one thing supply I'd say is really would be really nice to have. We have like spritzers in like little tubes, like pen-sized tubes. But like a full bottle or something would be really nice.
My mom could barely find hand soap earlier either. She had to go hunting for like weeks to find a gallon of hand soap to refill the soap bottles.
I think every room in our house that's bathroom related, not every room, but every place that you'd want to have hand sanitizer or hand soap, I think we've got some. So we're good in that regard. It's just, I can't, how long do you expect to not be able to like leave the house and go get some more supplies? You shouldn't be buying up you shouldn't be buying up like whole carts of toilet paper. Nobody in your house poops that much. Like a roll should reasonably last you half of, or if you have a full family, half of the month, a month. You know, we already had a full rack, you know, in each bathroom, and then just stuff in the pantry. I guess people, this is going to be one of those things that's going to change, I guess, the landscape of people, what they buy and how they interact with everybody else, obviously. But people need to stock up, not stock up, but they need to take care of themselves beforehand and not freak out. Just think reasonably what you need. That's one of the things that's kind of made me just shake my head and think this whole thing's ridiculous in that respect.
Hot tips from Nick.
Yeah, just don't be dumb.
Don't be dumb.
I will say the other thing that's affected me, you know, it sucks to not see friends. My family, my sister and her husband and my niece. That's like the thing that sucks. We've been doing, it's kind of nice now. We get like every 2 or 3 days we do FaceTimes. So I get to see her then and see how she's progressing. And, you know, that family, that unit, I think is smart enough to be able to take care of themselves. So they're doing very well. But it just makes me go like, I can't hang out with my niece. I can't. We do before we blow kisses, but I can't like give her high fives or anything. They just want her contained in like her own little bubble. And I'm like, I get it. She's on her team.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, now we're not doctors. Let me reiterate that.
We're definitely not doctors, people.
We're not medical professionals.
Not close.
We've barely read any statistics here. We're just trying to use common sense. But do we know anything about how this is affecting younger people? Like younger
how young
people?
Let's say again, I am also not a medical professional, but I believe it's just like a worse flu.
Okay, sure. Yeah. And then again, that's not like you want to.
And then this worse flu leads to pneumonia, pretty much. Or what I've been told from the news. Which is also.
Yeah, I'd rather in a worse, like if I had the choice, I'd rather myself get the disease that could kill me than like my niece get something that's going to make her sick for a while. Because like I don't like to see my niece ill or anything.
Oh, Nick's a really good guy underneath it. Who knew?
I found out that I'm a pretty good uncle. so having a baby to try and like help raise, you know, it's kind of been a nice little thing. But no, yeah, I that kind of stuff makes me go like, well, I don't hear too many cases of children or, I mean, that's the thing they also say about animals is that animals are traditionally, I don't know if it's a tradition, but they are seemingly less capable of carrying it. Maybe not carrying it, but getting sick by it. I don't know. Again, maybe I should shut my mouth at this point because it just feels like...
Nick, I also got a question for you. Since you have an older, you have your grandma living with you, do you take social distancing more serious than, say, me or Brian would? Because I really don't take it too serious because I don't live with someone that's really that old or that's out of type of health. I don't know.
No. I totally get what you're saying. I have to do it with all three of the people I live with: my mom, my dad, and my grandmother, because they're also in the range where, like, you know, I'm the youngest. My mom had me, you know, pretty late in the game, I guess you could say. So, you know, I'm old, so I feel like the rationale here is that, like, you know, I've got elderly parents, I've got a grandmother, and I've got to make sure that I keep my distance from them. I think we've kind of taken on the adaptation of, like not touching each other's faces or
Do you usually
hugging
touch
for the
each
most
other's
part.
faces?
Yes, we do the face-off thing where I take all 5 of my fingers and brush them across my mother's face. Just let her know. Let her know that I love her.
Gross.
We usually just dip each other's thumbs in each other's upper lips to let them know that we care. But
gross.
you know, I've had to think about that in respect to like not just my grandmother, but everybody that I live in proxy to. You know, my dad's got diabetes and he's an older guy. You know, he's a man. he's got all the telltale, you know, checkoff list stuff for who can be really affected by this kind of thing.
Is he a former smoker too?
No, nobody in my family smokes. I think my aunt did, and I'm trying to think. Maybe I don't know if my grandfather did. No, I don't think anybody. We don't have like a history of smoking or anything really. So, you know, that's out the window in terms of like lung processing. But you know, old age just does stuff to you, especially when you got that compounded with diabetes. You know, blood stuff like that can just kind of slow you down. And my mom was looking sick the other day. I was pointing that out to her. She literally did this like 1,000-yard stare while she was. We were at dinner last night, and she was like looking off the distance, and her nose was all red, and her eyes were just sunken. I was like, "Did you die in your chair?" And I didn't realize something happened. She's like, "No, I just must be tired or something." But I looked at her today, and she seemed okay. So again, it's stuff like that where I have to be more vigilant and concerned as to if there is an issue with somebody that I'm living with. But I think for the most part we're doing okay, and you know, I think my family is going to be just about all right for the most part. I miss my niece, but that's the only thing I really complain about.
Poor
Sure.
Nick. Now we go on to Brian and his professional/personal life. Because Brian's the only one of us with a real
Brian's
job.
the only one who's like the real world, like living out there, making monies,
living by himself.
making those Trump bucks.
Making those Trump bucks.
Yeah. I have a slightly different perspective on this because I work in the medical device industry. We provide packaging for medical devices. So we're considered essential. We can't shut down because if we shut down, then companies won't be able to get their medical devices to hospitals. So I'm, for the most part, working from home, but I still have to go into the office once or twice a day to sign off on things and inspect things. It's very odd. So we also produce the packaging in our facility, and a bunch of people who work on our production lines don't want to come in either because they're feeling sick or they're nervous or they have to take care of their kids or whatever. So the company I worked for actually dropped their minimum age requirement for line workers and said, anyone who can legally come in can now come and make money working on our floors because we need to keep pumping out packaging to help supply hospitals. So it's been really weird.
What did they lower it to? Above
so they
age?
said like any high school. I think it used to be 18, and now they're like anyone who should be in high school but isn't because they're closed can come in and work on our lines. Yeah, so that's one thing is anyway they've had anyone who can work from home. They're like, go work from home as much as possible. But people who work on our lines obviously still have to come in and physically make the parts. And hospitals are ordering way, way more than usual because they want to stock up in case, any given company has to shut down.
Brian, what do they buy from your company exactly?
What do they buy?
Yeah, like hospitals. What do they buy from your company that they're stocking up on?
So hospitals don't, not to get too in the weeds here, they don't buy directly from our company, but we essentially, companies that make medical devices hire us to make the packaging for their medical devices. So when a hospital orders from a company that makes medical devices, the medical device company orders from our company to get their packaging.
Ah, I see now. Okay.
But so it's every hospital's trying to stock up. One thing that we are fortunate enough to be able to do since we work a lot with plastics, we super quick turned around a kind of plastic face mask. That like it's essentially like a screen that would go down over your face. And they say that, if you have an actual like cloth face mask on and then you put this plastic face mask over it that kind of straps around your head, it's able to help extend the life of the cloth face mask. Since they're now most of the time for doctors, face masks are only one-time use or whatever, but now they're telling doctors we're running low, so you need to use them for days at a time.
Ooh.
So we started producing face masks that will help extend the life of cloth face masks. But yeah, it's strange. So like the times that I do need to go into the office, it's very empty on the whole kind of cubicle side of things. Production's still up and running, but like I have to kind of work things out with my bosses as to when I can see them and get things sorted out that I need to. And then working from home is just a drag. It was.
You seemed
fun
way
for,
more bummed about it than I thought you would be. Honestly, you seemed like, "Oh God, I can't get out." And I'm like, "Really,
Brian? You can build Legos all day now."
Yeah, no, it's
indoor life is great.
It was fun for a couple days, and now I'm just like, unlike both of you, I live completely alone. So it's like when I'm inside, I'm not seeing any other people, and it's like, all right, I got to get out of here. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
Can I ask a question about your personal life?
Yeah.
What I know recently, I had a phone call about this, is that you were recently cast in a play.
Yes.
So what's the news with that? Because that involves being around people.
It has been postponed, but not canceled.
Okay.
We were just hitting the point where we were getting off book for everything, and we were just a little over a month from like when it was supposed to premiere. So it's postponed now. It's only me and one other person in the show, so we're still practicing.
Oh, that's
lines.
true. It is a very minimal type play.
Yeah. So we're still practicing lines over Skype and everything, but it's like, we don't know how far it's going to be pushed out, if it's a month, if it's going to be 2 months. So we're not like going crazy practicing.
Every romance thing is just 6 feet apart. All your blocking.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
it's a really long bench.
Yeah, the show had a lot of kissing and laying in bed together.
Oh, Brian.
So it's something that, even though it's a really small cat, they say groups of less than 10 shouldn't be together. It's like, well, there's only 2 of us and the director usually getting together. So we probably could have kept rehearsing, but...
So guys, we have 400 performances lined up. Just like 8 people in the audience.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of stuff being postponed.
Brian, what about your social life? Can I ask about that?
Yeah, so
your
with
little
my
Tinder life, wink, wink.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I've been doing online dating here and there, and I have noticed just during the shutdown of most things, it seems like the number of people on dating apps has spiked, and a lot of them, you can't really get together with anyone right now, but a lot of people seem to be just like, oh, I need to chat with someone new, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, that's nice.
Brian's like, finally my time to shine. I'll chat with every girl in Madison.
It took a national crisis for me to find someone.
I'll meet my wife. Our first 2 months of dating will be online because we can't meet in public.
You make fun of that, but people do meet up and fall in love that way for real.
And you'll be one of them,
I know,
Brian.
just like...
Most of the people I've been seeing are like quarantine and chill, and I'm like, I'm still getting swiped left. I'm still getting swiped left by the bots that are clearly just like, grab my booty and buy me pizza. I'm like, ah, oh, man, boy, oh boy,
oh man,
yeah. So one thing I really want to hear from you guys is predictions.
About
how
what?
long?
Zombie virus.
Okay, let's start small.
Zombie virus.
Yes. Do you think kids are going to be going back to school this school year?
No.
My mom, I talked to this about my mom. She said, I've never seen, this is from her perspective, she's an older lass.
She's also a teacher too, by the way.
She's a little former teacher, but this has nothing to do with school. This is just her personal perspective. She's like, we've dealt with SARS and stuff that has just like essentially, bird flu and all that stuff. Things got canceled and do get canceled here and there. She said she's never seen anything like the country in the state like it's currently in.
Yeah, because the last time it happened was 1920 during the Spanish flu.
Well, yes, but my point is that, her opinion is that this is something definitely different, and it's more than likely going to take a significant toll on schooling and stuff like that. So, no. If we're in March right now, we're going to trend into April. Let's say school goes to June. People better expect that this isn't going to, I don't think, clear out in the next month and a half. I don't think. And, at that point, what's even the purpose of it? Just for safety precautions, I think they're going to try and keep it under wraps. Our state currently, Minnesota anyway, is currently under a lockdown. Is it the state or
state?
It's the state.
Statewide, stay indoors.
Lockdown. Stay indoors unless absolutely necessary. And my dad keeps thinking he can still go out and get Taco Bell. It's just not a good idea.
Do you guys?
So I'm hearing a no from you.
Yeah, no. Generally, no.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that if they're going to extend school to summer instead? If it lasts till June or July, they're just going to bring it towards the summer year?
I don't know what this has to do with if you miss if the school gets shut down. I feel like the kids get a break. That's the way I look at it. I really do feel like that. What are they not learning in school right now? That's oh my god, the utmost importance to get past. I didn't learn taxes.
They're not going to know the Pythagorean theorem.
Yes,
they're not going to make it in life.
Right now, they're missing Archduke Ferdinand
getting assassinated.
Yeah. Which I'm glad to know. By the way.
Do you think school's gonna be shut down till summer, or you think it's gonna open after this is all done?
I would guarantee it's not going to open this school year.
Oh, do you think summer school's going to be a thing then still?
I hope not.
I mean, summer
that's
school.
The thing. I don't even know, were elementary school kids told to, clean out their lockers? Or, I just don't understand, is people's stuff still there?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, my stuff's still at my school.
Some kid's old sandwich is just mutating into a coronavirus, too.
Well, I couldn't clean out my art locker because it wasn't open. I mean, at a school.
Oh, yeah. What do you have left? What do you have still there?
I have a ruler, a couple notebooks, my lock, a bunch of spray-on stuff, chalk pens and stuff, chalk pencils.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Poor Kyle.
And it wasn't open when I got back either because the whole campus was locked down.
Yeah.
So I was like, I forgot about it. Then they sent an email saying you can get it back next fall. I'm like, what?
The whole summer. Again, what are they planning on? They say next fall.
Yeah.
What's going to happen this summer? What is their plan?
Summer
what are we
classes
not
are already all online.
Okay, so we're all in agreement that school isn't going to happen.
School
Major League Baseball, is that going to happen this summer?
No.
Ooh, Major League Baseball.
I say no. I think they're already... You can't, go halfway through the season and say, okay, let's start it up now, and then we'll just, I don't know, skip half the season and go right to the championships. How'd they do that? You can't just, skip half a season and say, okay, let's go to the end now.
Yeah, I feel like to not throw everything off. All sport. Is there any sport still going on?
I mean, they postponed the Olympics.
And tennis. And golf.
What about the XFL? That's still going on, right?
Is it? I haven't seen it in a while.
Is it?
I don't think it is.
It hasn't been. I don't think it's been off, has it? I felt I would have heard it because that's all I get on Twitter every Sunday was XFL trending stuff. So I never heard it was officially canceled.
It is canceled.
Okay. So when would it start? April, May?
For baseball?
That's a good question. I don't actually
baseball.
know.
The first Twins game was supposed to be last weekend.
Oh yeah, no.
It's not happening this year.
It's not happening.
So most people who work in office buildings have, like me, are supposed to be out as much as possible. At what point do you think people are going to be just regularly going back into work again?
Ooh, it's gonna be hard because all businesses are different. Because some are gonna say, "Let's be safe and wait," and others are gonna be like, "Donald Trump said before Easter, so let's go back Easter now. Let's go to Easter quick." So I guess it all depends on the company itself and what they view as more important. Like, they're economically wise, if they want to make money again and keep these people employed, or if they want to keep these people safe, but also risk their employment through the company.
My friend Jessie just got a job, and then COVID comes on, and she has to go home, and now she's getting the information like, hey, since you're brand new, we're probably not going to have you be brought back once all this stuff clears over. But even then, they don't know when things are going to come back.
Yeah.
Like, people just have to take their losses. Businesses are going to take their losses, and then they're going to try and make some of it back by taking people off the list of those they were hired on for. But
yeah,
do we all agree
their jobs as well
that this virus is going to ruin the economy, though? Can we all agree on that?
I never know what anything has to do with fickle numbers and what actually things mean.
So
I'm such an I give a shit about the economy.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I had never invested in stocks before, but now that they're all like dirt cheap,
Our friend Justin, I'll have you know, sorry to interrupt your point, but I agree with you. Our friend Justin, he was investing he put all his stock in medical companies that are trying to find cures. And he's like, I made like 3 times my money back at this point.
Yeah.
Really?
See, that's the thing. They like reached an all-time low like a week, not all-time low, but a very big recent low like a week ago. And I just kind of started investing in stuff. I'm like, all right, it's going to go back up eventually, so I'm making money.
Unless it just dramatically screws you over. You've only lost, a couple bit. You owe money. No, you owe money.
Brian's smart. He knows what's up.
Yep. I know. I have such. It's both my lack of gambling desire as well as my lack of interest in what the market says it is, because it's just all numbers on a graph that people give value to. So that kind of stuff just ekes me out. So I'll never invest in anything like that. But smart investment for those who are willing to take that risk, obviously. But it's I agree with you. It's kind of not much of a risk at this point.
Oh, sorry for my cough.
Oh boy, drop the call.
Drop the call.
Oh, he coughed.
Oh no.
So it's so hard to tell because I have allergies and they're really bad this year, this April.
Oh God, my grandfather's such a, what's the word for when you think you have something you don't?
Hypochondriac?
Hypochondriac. He's such a hypochondriac about every little thing. And obviously, it is important that we focus on our older folks and make sure that they are being taken care of. But he is just most of the time adamant that he has something and he doesn't. So a lot of the claims we've been getting is like, "Oh no, I'm feeling very weak." I'm like, we're just like, "Yeah, because you're old."
Oh my god!
It's not like you're not gonna be weak at this stage. I don't know. Maybe it's been sensitive towards the elderly folk.
It is.
I apologize. This is my pre-apology. I'd like to apologize for.
I apologize to all of our 80-plus-year-old
folk,
listeners.
The one person who's
Elderly
80 plus
fan
that's
base.
listening to this.
Didn't mean to
Please
offend.
forgive us.
I love those
All right,
Sotie
that's all right.
Boyz.
What the heck? Oh, man, I keep actually do cough. After Nick just destroying the elderly, we end on this super positive note. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like. Have a good rest of your day, and don't get sick. Wash your hands, stay 6 feet away, practice social distancing, have fun outside, and have a good rest of your day.
Wait, that seems like a contrarian statement.
Goodbye.